Welcome to Tired Dad Podcast, episode 32. I'm Nathan Ross, and with me we have my wife, Melissa Ross. And today we're going to talk to you about, can you come back when trust is broken?
Oh, he's pulling out the big guns tonight.
Pow pow!
As always, you can't see them when you've got your black t-shirt on. There we go.
You can't see me.
That one's mine anyway.
Yeah, well, he's got your name on.
Yeah.
So can you rebuild and come back when trust is broken?
As always, I don't know what the topic of the podcast is when we come to the table.
No.
So this is obviously we've lived through it, but
Yeah, I'm tired.
generally life or tonight.
I'm really tired tonight.
You're not
Really
feeling
tired.
it?
No, I'm feeling it. I'm just tired tonight. I've just come back from the I do a walk every Monday night called Frankwork. It's Monday with dads. And so I'm really tired. And we've been out for the day.
Mhm.
He's striking a pose, looking what you look like on the left or the right.
Well, you know.
So I'm tired. I've done a lot of driving. We went to Bath, which is 2.5 hours away. So I'm just generally tired.
Okay.
But anyway,
I'm sure everyone wants to know that.
it's called Tired Dad Podcast. Why would they not want
He's
to know?
looking. Do you know what? He always looks out because he always wears a hat which makes you look less tired.
Does it?
Yeah, because it just
No. What does it? It's so tight. It raises my eyebrows up.
It's like a
Like a
cheap facelift.
Yeah, like a Botox.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to talk about, can you rebuild when trust is broken? Why are we talking about this? Because trust is the key to every relationship, and you've had to learn to trust me again, which is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
Now, I know when I speak to most men, they'll be like, if my wife cheated on me, I would never go back to them.
It's funny the amount of people that think very black and white in that situation, but
and it's easy to think black and white, though, isn't it?
yeah, but once you're in it and real feelings are involved and
Yep.
real family members are involved,
Yep.
it becomes a whole different ball game. Because theoretically, you wouldn't want to come back from someone who's hurt you. You
No.
want to mend, you wouldn't want to repair. You'd think, okay, they've done me over.
Yep.
I'm not going to give them a second chance. Why should I? They don't deserve it.
I'll
never be able to forgive them. I'll never be able to forget what they've done. I'll never be able to move on. We'll never be able to be happy. There's all
these things that go through your head. Yeah.
But it's very different.
Is it very black and white?
Life isn't black and white.
No. And I think it's really funny because I was chatting to someone tonight who was going through this same this thing of he's left his wife, she cheated, blah blah blah. Well, I don't know if actually she cheated, I can't say that, but there was something that happened, and so he left the family home, and he would never have her back, never have her back. And then I shared my experience, and he was like, yeah, I still want to have her back, and blah blah blah. I do believe though, trust can be rebuilt.
It can where you want it to be rebuilt. If he's
We
completely
are living proof of this.
yeah, if he's completely disconnected and
Yeah.
feelings,
Some relationships are just like done,
yeah,
aren't they?
you've got to want it.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, then what's the point?
So because we're not even talking about trust being broken from an affair point of view. Trust can be broken by anything.
Oh yeah.
Can't it? It can be
Lies, just generally.
lies. It can be promises that have been unbroken.
Yeah.
It can be lots of things, not just
showing
from
up for someone like you say, making promises that you know they're never
disconnection.
Yeah.
You can be roommates, and then that can lead to resentment.
It could be addictions.
It can be addictions, gambling, drugs. So it's not just a one size fits all thing, but
no.
Trust can be broken on so many levels as well.
Yeah.
So should we break it down?
Let's break it down.
Break it down. So why are you looking at it when the camera's there?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's where the camera is there. You know what I mean? Looking on the laptop, but the camera's there.
Everyone.
See
you. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, welcome to Tired Dad Podcast. So let's break it down. It's a serious topic.
Yeah.
Can trust be restored? Now, I'm going to talk about how I did it, because that's all I can go on. And I'm going to talk about when I've spoken to dads as well. What have they done to rebuild the trust? And it's usually similar lines. I'm not saying one size fits all. So how I did it was, and how I continue to, because rebuilding trust is an ongoing process, isn't it?
There's no end. There's no end game.
No. So for the next 50 years of my life, I'm just have to going to prove my life, aren't I?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so
the one thing I will preface this with saying the person that breaks the trust should never hold the other person in
ransom.
no, not ransom, but like it should never be blamed on the other person for you needing to be held accountable, is what I'm saying. Because if you're the person who's broken the trust,
Yeah.
you are the person then responsible for rebuilding it.
Yeah.
And then you can't be aggy, for want of a better word.
Aggie, Aggie, Aggie. Yeah, you can't be annoyed.
Yeah,
You can't be
you can't
annoyed.
be aggravated
Yeah.
when you need to hold true to your word and show up for that other person, because unfortunately, because of whatever it was that you may have done to break that trust, you
Yeah.
no longer get the benefit of the doubt which you had pre
Yeah.
trust being broken.
Okay. Which is a good side note.
I'll just preface
What's that?
that.
What's it called? Terms and conditions. They're the terms and conditions. So,
We laid
so
out the T's and
yeah, the
C's.
T's and C's. So when you break the terms and conditions,
Yeah.
okay. So what I did was, and this is what I did. Number one, I had to be honest about everything that had gone on. Okay, that is the key. First off, isn't
Well,
it?
that's taking accountability.
Yeah, and responsibility and all the abilities.
Yeah, basically.
So you have to, number one, go dark. And what I mean by that is just lay it all on the table.
You've got to basically allow yourself to feel the shame of expressing what you've actually done face to face to the person that you've done it to.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing to do.
Well, and depending again, like we just said, not just about affairs.
Whatever
It could be whatever it is. Could be spending money because you've got a gambling problem, a porn addiction problem, whatever it is. You've got to own what you've done. Okay, that's the key. Number one, own what you have done that made you or your wife, well, no, made your partner break trust. Okay, because if you don't own it, you're letting your ego kick in, and if you let your ego kick in, you're actually not sorry, are you?
That's a you problem is one of the worst things that you could say, isn't it? Really,
it's a you problem.
If you don't trust me, that's a you problem.
Yeah. That's a you problem.
It's nothing to do with me. I'm sorry that what I did.
I need to use that one again.
I'm sorry that what I did makes you feel that way. Sorry that you feel that way.
Yeah.
That is a complete deflection of taking responsibility.
So the initial thing is owning up, taking responsibility, being accountable, and dropping all your ego to the side and saying to whatever you've done, owning it.
Because it's okay just saying sorry.
Yeah, I don't.
Sorry's words.
What sorry seems to be the hardest word.
Well, sorry without action is just.
Is it Elton John?
It's just BS, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like without change.
I don't think words matter at this point.
No, without changed action, words don't mean anything.
So a man can say whatever they want to a woman, and she's so disconnected because of the trust being broken,
and she doesn't believe your word.
She doesn't believe in it because of the trust being broken. That words don't mean anything, but you've got to take ownership, and that first step is actually being remorseful for what you've done. Okay, and being honest with yourself, because I think once you be honest with your partner for what you've done, you're actually also admitting and being honest with yourself, and that's hard.
Yeah, and you also being that person that's being forthcoming in having that conversation, because if your partner's having to drag it out of you, well, why aren't you saying sorry, or why aren't you trying to tell me that you're going to take responsibility for what you've done?
Yeah.
If your partner's being the one that has to have that conversation with you, again, you're not ready to take full ownership of the situation. No. You need to be the person that comes forward and says, look, lay all your shit, I'm going to lay all my shit bare, and it's going to be ugly, and it's going to be horrible, but this is the first step in moving forward.
So that's number one. Number two, triggers.
Oh, we like that word, don't we?
You're always triggered. You're just trigger happy. Number two, and what I mean by triggers,
you see how much of a thick skin I have to be with you.
Oh, really?
Guns.
It's a buzzword. It's a buzzword. What was the other one? Diversity. No, it's not really. I'm joking. It's not.
Deflection.
Triggers. And what I mean by that is you have to understand what you did and what triggered you to break the trust. So that's not your partner's job to find out what triggers her, because she's triggered because you broke the trust. Okay, what are your triggers, and what were your triggers in order for you to go down the route of doing what you did?
What were your triggers, or what are the things that trigger your partner?
What are my triggers?
Oh, okay.
It doesn't really matter about your triggers, does it? Because at the end of the day.
So what were the triggers that caused you to do what you did in the first place?
Yes.
Right. So
to break the trust.
Right.
Yeah. Because you're going to be triggered for the next how many years? There's going to be certain things along the way.
Oh, Lord.
It's gonna be a great ride. But there's always gonna be things that trigger you, isn't there? Like certain things that happen, and that's always gonna happen because I broke the trust. But for me, I needed to understand what triggered me to go down that route, which is why I went back to therapy.
Yeah, that's a big first step, because if
you don't know what triggered you, it'll happen again.
If you don't uncover the reason why,
yeah,
it's no good just saying, "Oh, I'm sorry,
I've changed.
I didn't think, or I wasn't thinking, or whatever." If you don't get to the root of the problem, it's going to resurface.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, if you think about, oh, I know what triggered you, you don't, because what you think triggered you is the surface level. Okay, oh, I like the attention. I don't know. I was bored and lonely. I'm just trying to think if you
we weren't spending any time
we
together.
weren't spending any time together, or if you got an addiction, like, oh, it made me feel good, or I know if you're gambling, it just got me out of the house, and all these sort of things. They're just surface level thinking. There's actually a deeper rooted triggers, causes that are making you,
which comes from a lot of insecurity,
but also it could be past trauma, it could be there's lots of things. Okay, lack of self-worth, low self-esteem, and that needs to all be untangled and worked on,
ironed out,
and dealt with before you even think about, and before your wife even thinks about building trust. Okay, so you've got to do the inner work.
You've got to be willing to do the work, because it is going to be work.
Because again, you can say, oh, I'm changed, I'm a better man, and all that. Your old self will show very quickly.
That over and over and over again. So you were at the point where you were going to deal with it.
And it'll never get fixed.
It couldn't come from me.
No.
That had to come from you.
And the worst ick a woman does not want to hear is, what do you want me to do? Tell me. Just tell me, what do you want me to do?
What can I do?
What can I do? It's just an ick. Is it not?
Well, yeah, because it's very
tell me and I'll do it.
It's a bit emasculating for you as well.
Yeah. And let's be real.
No one wants something because you've asked for it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want a hug just because I've asked for one, or I don't want you to just say sorry because I've asked you.
And also, most men know what they need to do.
Yeah.
But they don't want to be.
You like to act thick.
No, but they also think, if I ask the woman what, and then I do it, then she'll trust me again.
Yeah.
When the reality is, number one, it's an ick. So stop asking your wife what do you want them to do.
And also, it's a short-lived, short-term fix.
To
a bigger problem, isn't it?
Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Do what you need to do, which is the deep work. Okay. Finding out what your triggers are and why you went down that route. So that's number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you so far.
Oh, you're with me. Are we aligned?
I'm with your partner.
Are we aligned?
We're aligned.
Aligned.
Yeah.
Aligned.
Just chat our star signs after this.
Really?
Joking.
Okay. Number 1 was, what's number 1?
It was. It's been a long day.
You can't remember, can you?
I don't think about it.
Go on then.
I actually can't.
Right. This is why we do our podcast raw, because you just get us raw. You actually can't remember.
I actually can't.
So number 1 is literally, I can't remember.
So number 2 is triggers.
Number 1.
Not clear.
Guys, comment. What's number 1? No, number 1 was, we haven't written it down either. Can we just do it raw?
Yes, we were talking about trust.
You got to be. Oh no, that was it. Sorry.
Okay.
You've not.
Sorry.
No, sorry seems to be the hardest.
No,
it wasn't sorry. It was
Oh gosh, we're terrible tonight.
Own it.
Ownership and triggers. So sorry. We're not.
It's been a long.
We're not on top form today.
You're tired.
Yeah.
You're tired, Mum. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Okay, so. And listen, guys, you know what? If we just do this raw anyway, so we're not here to be perfect. We're just here.
We don't read off a script.
No. Number 1, ownership. Number 2, triggers. Remember them. Number 1, ownership. Number 2, triggers.
Got it.
And number 3, I'm just going to do 3. Okay. Number 3, be prepared for the journey.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, it ain't going to be all hunky dory.
Well, just because you've decided to repair your relationship doesn't mean that it's going to be plain sailing from here.
And what I'm trying to say, guys, is, let's just say your wife said, okay, cool, look, I want to give it a go again. Okay, I forgive you for what you've done. Let's rebuild our relationship and stuff like that.
You're not off the hook.
Well, you're not even not off the hook. You've still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Talking from experience, you've still got a lot of work to do. If you look at the other podcast, we talk about choosing love. You choose to love your partner. You have chosen to rebuild your relationship. So you've got a lot of work to do. And the issue is most men think, okay, I've owned what I've done, and they leave it there. Or I've owned what I've done. I've been for therapy. I've done some deep work, not a lot, but a bit to show my missus I've done a bit of work. And then
can we name another ick?
What?
Stop going on about it.
What do you mean?
When you do all those things.
Oh yeah.
And then you accuse the other person
Yeah.
of going on about it.
Yeah.
You've got to be prepared that that person potentially will be bringing up intermittently
the rest of your life
things, or the things that you have done, and not throwing it in your face. No, I don't mean like that, because if you're at that point, then you both need therapy. Because if you're still as the victim, I won't victim, but you know what I mean. You've always been a victim. As the whatever. Take that back.
I'm sorry. Go on.
As the person who has been hurt.
Yeah.
You are going to intermittently feel those points of pain. Yeah. Whether you can put it to the side, or whether you deal with it independently, or however you choose to deal with it. Personally, you need to deal with it in therapy to be able to actually move on, because just putting it to the side never works. Yeah. But despite having done that, there's still points of pain that will come forever.
Yep. And also
not all the time.
No, but also
you've got to be prepared to accept that and roll with it, rather than blame and say, come on, stop talking about it now.
I've done my work.
It was a year ago. It was 2 years ago. It was 10 years ago. Are we still going on about it?
I don't, after 10 years.
Well,
it wouldn't always be there.
But it's not always there now. But you know, if in 10 years' time something came up, which again is quite triggering, then luckily the conversations get shorter and shorter and shorter, shorter as time goes on. Yep. The time from when you bring it up to the time where you feel okay again becomes shorter, and it's less painful. Yep. But that's because you help me work through it. Yeah. That's because your partner's supportive about it. You can't be a dick about it and be like, get over it, because there's nothing more infuriating.
And also, I think if you're at a point where you're saying to your wife, oh man, come on, get over it, blah, 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 you've not actually done the work.
And that's lack of respect.
It's lack of respect, but also it's lack of responsibility.
Yeah.
You've messed up. I messed up. So it's my duty of care to earn the trust back. Yeah. And there will be hurdles to go over, and there'll be points that you will probably get triggered by things. And that's part and parcel of the rebuilding of the marriage. And if you're not prepared to do that,
don't make the false promises that
don't make the false promises and go back to the old person you were, because that's all you're becoming again, the old person that you were. Oh, but Nath, I owned my mistakes, but Nath, I went for therapy and I did this and did that, and I learned what triggered me, and now I've
just going for therapy and actually showing up in the therapy,
and I've been proving to her and all that sort of thing. Well, number one, you're not proving anything. You're going to prove to yourself, okay, that you're actually a changed man. And number two, if you really want your marriage to work, you'll do what needs to be done. Yeah. Whether that takes a year, 5 years, 10 years, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're building the trust up again.
And the reason it's worth it, I will say, is you've been given a real privilege to have a second chance.
Yeah.
And
I know so many men.
I'm not talking about this from a personal point of view.
You're just letting your ego in, it's fine.
Not at all. No. Literally going to say this is not being egotistical at all, but there's a lot of people that mess up that don't get second chances.
And they wish. I've spoken to dads this week, last week, that are asking Nate, what can I do to get back with my wife, and blah, blah, blah. And he said it at my clinic. And I'm just like, we've explored it and this, that, and the other. And I've asked, we're actually going to do couples therapy and stuff like that, because I think sometimes it takes couples therapy to do the work together.
Well, somebody who's been very, very hurt probably doesn't know how, like what we were exploring tonight, how it can ever look normal again. Yeah. And
but also, I don't think, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I also don't think the man knows how much they've hurt the wife.
They don't want to accept it.
No. So number one, ownership.
But it's it is a real privilege for somebody to be able to forgive something that it's really painful. Because it isn't just like forgetting to do something or forgetting an anniversary or not showing up for something. It's a period of time where you've let this person down over and over again, and you've
and let's be real, leading up to that point, the woman has at that point just gone, okay, I've had enough now. It's happened a long time before. So there are signs that we're going to talk about in our next podcast about the signs that lead up to when a woman finally says, I'm done, blah, blah, blah. There are actually signs probably a year before that, that you're probably not noticing, dads or men.
Because I think men and women are different. I think men are quite reactive in relationships. They can quickly shout that I'm done, or they can quickly then, oh no, I want things back. And whereas I think women,
when they're done,
quietly just tolerate and put up with, and
while that's happening,
carry on.
Brick walls being built.
And eventually then when the woman says she's done, she's done.
She's done.
And I know I said I was done with you.
Yeah, you were done.
But we were already separated at that point.
Yeah.
You know, it got to a horrible point with us, even when we were separated. But when a woman's done, she's done. And I'd say a lot of the time there's not really a chance of going back. So if you can try and cut that period of time from when you're messing up to her saying she's done, you've got much more chance of saving the relationship. I would say.
I hear it all the time, especially from dads online and in my clinic. It's they're done because they're tired of telling me that I'm not listening, or tired of telling me that I'm not doing this and that and the other. And I think there are so many signs, which we're going to talk about in another podcast, the signs that lead up to an end of a marriage. But there are top 3 things that I think a man needs to do in order to rebuild trust. Number 1, ownership. Number 2, work on yourself, find out what the triggers were into why you went there. And number 3, be prepared for a long, hard journey, because it isn't easy. And even we're still going through it now. And it's a lot easier as the years have gone on, but years in my head. But it is, you can do it. And it can be done, and it's not black and white. Now, a lot of the time, as a man, people might go to, oh, you're stupid. If a woman's cheating on you, you're stupid for taking him back and this, that, and the other. But there's a lot more factors, such as family. There's a lot more factors that men don't like to be lonely. There's a lot more factors that come into play. So it's not a grey area.
We have come across a lot more, sorry to interrupt, but on our journey, we've come across a lot more people that have congratulated us for being able to repair our marriage than people who've judged us, and maybe they have behind closed doors, particularly me, maybe for having you back, or whichever way. I think
they feel sorry for me.
Okay.
Because I've come back to joking.
But no, we've come across a lot more positivity than I expected. Like, oh my gosh, like
you didn't really give 2 figs.
No,
it's different for you.
No. I'm not even talking this from a personal point of view. I'm just saying there's no shame in taking.
Oh, no.
There's no shame in forgiveness, is what I'm trying to say. There's no shame. There's no, oh, how's this going to look? I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm going to look like a pushover if I take him back. You do what's right for you in your relationship.
And what goes on behind closed doors is down to you guys, isn't it?
Because people can be very judgmental in their glass houses.
You know,
and we should all look a bit inward before we judge people's relationships.
Definitely. So, guys, I hope we've helped you. I'm sorry that it's been very raw and all over the place tonight. It's been very raw.
We can't talk.
I'm so tired. So,
we couldn't remember the topic.
This tired down is just relevant tonight because I've driven.
Everyone should feel sorry for you because you're back with me.
But yeah, so this is podcast episode 32. Guys, please like, subscribe, and share. For those of you that are like, subscribe, share before continue. I actually looked at the analytics of my YouTube channel, and so many people that I watch are not subscribed. Okay, I think it's about 72% of you that watch it are not subscribed, and it makes a difference. So please, guys, subscribe to my channel, and also just leave a comment, thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't really care, love it, hate it, whatever. If you want to,
it's totally free.
It's all free. It doesn't cost you anything to do, but please like, comment, and share. If there's a topic you want to talk about, please do. Otherwise, next week we're going to talk about signs that your marriage is coming to an end. And apart from that, thank you for watching.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.